Welcome to another episode of Preferred Walk On, a PFF college football show. I'm your host, Max Chadwick, and on this show, we interview some of the biggest superstars around the sport, and this one is my favorite one yet. Michigan running back Donovan Edwards, who, as big of a superstar as he is on the field, he's an even bigger one on the mic, man, and he is a terrific player on the field. In my opinion, he's a top 10 running back in college football. He was the number 3 running back prospect in PFF lead draft analyst Trevor Sikkema's rankings for the 2024 NFL draft. He led all Power 5 running backs last year, averaging 7.1 yards per carry, and his 87 PFF grade last year tied for 5th in that same group. So I cannot wait to show you guys this one. As always, check out the feature article I did on Donovan Edwards. It dropped today, actually, over at pff.com. And a major thank you to Dave Sofaro, who sets up every single one of these interviews. And we've got plenty more still to come. So please hit that subscribe button. But without further ado, here he is, Michigan running back Donovan Edwards. My first question I want to ask you, dude, you were like this super highly rated recruit coming out of high school, but yet your freshman and sophomore year, you mentioned before, you weren't even like the guy at your high school those 2 years. What was it like? Did you have to like be patient, during those first couple of years?
Yeah, I like that you asked that question. I was always used to being the man. I know like Coach Bellamy said it in an interview one time before, but my whole career, I've always like been the man. Not my freshman year, but like in high school, but like my sophomore, junior, senior year, I was like growing into being the man. And then when I got here, it was like just a humbling experience, because it's like I'm not the man no more. And it has also shown me like to have patience, and like it's given me the opportunity to like really look at myself and reflect to myself, like in order to get where I want to be at, it's not going to be the way I want it to be. So like I just have to work hard, regardless of where I'm at on the depth chart, how talented people are in front of me. Like I just have to do what I can to like be the best version of myself, and to give everything I got for not only for myself but for the team, because like when my number's called on, like I have to be able to produce. I can't go in there with like not knowing my pass protections. I can't go in there like not running the ball well. Like I gotta be able to not have a drop off when like Hassan was here, and like how it is like with me and Blake, like it can't be a drop off. So
yeah, I love that, dude. So other thing I wanted to ask you too, you came out of West Bloomfield, Michigan. Was it always like a foregone conclusion for you that like, hey man, I know I got an Alabama offer, I got offers from every school in the country, but I'm always gonna be a Wolverine no matter what?
No, it was never like that. I was always like interested in like other programs, like I was like really like I was like I didn't want to, like I was never a Michigan fan growing up. It never was. Like I was always an outlier because everybody around me is Michigan fans. It's like, well, I like Michigan State, or I like Ohio State, But then, just by the glory of God, like I end up here at a great prestigious and a great university with amazing people and amazing fans. And it's like the thing I was just talking about, like, like you don't know what's going to happen until you go through it. Like I started to fall in love with Michigan. I love being here at Michigan, although like I was never a fan of Michigan growing up.
So what made you decide on Michigan over, say, a Penn State coming out of high school?
Well, one, because like, they were coming off a 2-4 season, and me, like I want to go somewhere, and like this goes for the next level too. I want to go somewhere where like they're not doing so great. You know what I'm saying? Like where they're, like nobody's rooting for this team, or like nobody's like thinking that they could do it. And like when I like me and my class, when we got here, we start winning. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. I like being the underdog. I like being the underdog. And it's like, don't be a fan like when we start turning it up. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. So a thing I love asking.
My bad. I got another way to answer that too.
Yeah, go ahead.
As well, it's like I saw what my class was capable of, and I saw like if my class bought into like what Josh Ross, Aiden Hutchinson was preaching to us,
Mm-hmm.
like we were going to be where we are now. You know what I'm saying? And that's contending for a championship, a national championship. You know.
Absolutely, man. So the other thing I want to ask you too, obviously, your freshman year, Hassan Haskins, Blake Corum were in front of you. Last
Yeah.
year, Blake Corum was in front of you. How have you been patient? You're patient in high school for your first 2 years. You have to be patient now your first 2 years. Has patience really been like that important to you throughout your whole career?
Nah, it hasn't actually. Like this, um, recently, like I really embodied it. You know, like things aren't going to go my way. Like I like there was like times after the games where like I cried because like I'm not playing as much. You know what I'm saying? Like I know I can do it. I know that I'm capable, but it's like I feel is like I'm not. I understand like we got to win, and Hassan has experience. Blake has Hassan had more experience. He's playing a lot, and then like Blake was kind of in the role like how I was in last year. That like they're not relying on me. They're more so relying on these two guys. So we're like, like I'm like I like start crying because it's like I know I can do it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I'm not getting in. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what can I do to continue to like get on the field? And that's my number one thing. It's like I want to compete. Like I want to be on the field. I want to do everything I can possible to help the team win. And it's like when I can't do it, when I feel I'm not in a position to be able to help compete and help the team win, it's like, like you just be like, damn, like it just irks you,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes you work harder. So that's
Wow,
where like
man.
that's where the patience and like looking, not being in despair or like not being in despair or complaining that like you got other people ahead of you, but it's like you got to work harder. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. But honestly, when you got your shot last year and Blake unfortunately went down with that injury, you went freaking nuts, dude, in those last 3 games. You're for like over 500 yards against some of the
Yeah.
best defenses you played all year, too. How ready were you? You never want an injury to Blake, obviously, but how ready were you at that moment? Like, all right, man, it's my time now to shine.
I always prepare myself like I'm going to be the man. I always prepare myself like I'm going to be the starter. So it's never, like I hated that, my time came because Blake got hurt. Although like, I was still having a pretty good season before, like 500 yards in 3 games, whatever. But I always prepare myself for that, Like I always
Mm-hmm.
prepare myself to rise to the occasion no matter what's going on with me. I had a broken thumb and a torn patella tendon. It doesn't mean anything, Like I gotta do everything I can possible to help the team win. You know what I'm saying? Like practicing on a broken thumb, like it doesn't matter. Like it's always you gotta be able to rise to the occasion that's given to you. Like I've been looking for an opportunity, to showcase myself, and I just accepted it and I completed the challenge when it was given to me.
Hell yeah, dude. So I want to talk about Blake Corum, too. What is your relationship like with Blake?
My bad.
You're good, dude. No worries.
Um, our relationship is strong. Me and him actually talked about like literally like 3-4 days ago that we have to have our relationship stronger, for the team aspect. And me and JJ actually talked about it today too about our relationship. Like I've always had good relationship with those two, but it's like it has to be more now this year, not just for our aspect, but like for the team aspect, because once the team looks at us three in particular, like they're going to rise too because they look at us, as the leaders. They look at us as like, what are these guys doing? These guys are doing this, so I have to do this as well. And it's like if we build what me and Blake were talking about, and JJ, this was me and Blake talked about it, and me and JJ talked about it at a different time, but basically the same. It all tied into the same thing. That like whatever we're doing, the team is looking at it. So it's like if we build our relationship, like I see Blake going, he gets like, what I'm saying, a fantastic run, a touchdown. I'm going crazy on the sideline, and it's going to be vice versa for him, for me,
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And then like with JJ, like we need each other, like he needs to throw me the ball. I need to catch the ball, what I'm saying? So it's like we have to all three of us have to have trust within each other, and like that correlates to the whole team because like they're looking at us as the leaders of the team.
Absolutely, dude. So I was going to ask you about JJ too. What makes JJ so special? And then going back to Blake too, what makes Blake so special too?
I'll start with JJ. It's just like willingness to like want to do whatever is like at hand. It's just it's just like he's willing to do everything at all costs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes him special. Like you could see like on the film that like when he's not running to like he's running. He's like a running quarterback, and like he's not afraid to like get hit. You know what I'm saying? Like some other quarterbacks, they're going to slide. Like no, like he's going to take the hit. You know what I'm saying? He used to be a hockey player, so he embraces the toughness and like getting the extra yards. And with Blake, it's the same thing. His determination, his willingness to, always do extra, always do more, always compete. You know what I'm saying? Always take like extra steps and extra stride to, like one, to be the best version of himself, and like two, to give back to the community as well. So that's what makes them both special.
I love that, dude. So I was going to ask you too, what do you think separates you from other top running backs around college football?
Oh, that's a dumb question. No, I was just playing. But it's like my patience. My
Yeah.
patience is impeccable, like, and my ability to like hit like the smallest of holes and like
Mm-hmm.
squeeze through it and like break through, is second to none. And I say I am the best like dual threat running back. Like
Yep.
I'll catch a ball 50 yards down the field over the shoulder. I'll play slot receiver, what I'm saying? I'll be the best slot receiver in the country if I was like really mastering that craft of being a slot receiver, which I am this year. So like, and I don't drop balls. Like there wasn't one ball that I dropped in my whole career, besides like one game. I think it was Wisconsin,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't a great pass. You know what I'm saying? Like I could. But besides that, like you don't see maybe like I could like improve like my like I get hit and like continue to drive my feet. Yeah, I can improve that, but like anything else, like you can't look at my game and be like, oh, that's weak. You can't
Mm-hmm.
look at it. You know what I'm saying? Like I have great vision, I have great patience, I have a great burst. What separates me as well is like my receiving ability. Like
Yep.
you can't put a corner you can't put a linebacker or a safety on me. Shit, you might have to double team me. You know what I'm saying? You might have to put your best corner on me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That takes away my ability, would take away from Cornelius Johnson Six's ability. So now it's like he'll get open. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about me though.
I love that. I knew all of that about you too, so I just wanted to hear from you for that,
Yeah.
man.
Oh
But
yeah.
another question
No.
the questions I love asking players is, what do you think is the best play that you've made in your career so far? The one I would go for you, that Purdue Big Ten
Yeah.
championship game run, dude. That game, that was freaking absurd, man. What would you say is
Which
your best
one?
play? The first one when you broke out of like 3 tackles and then reached over the goal line, as the one I would
It
go
was
with.
about 7.
Oh yeah.
But nah, that play right there is like a glimpse of everything that I can do. What up, Dave? It's like the ability to see a blitzing linebacker and like split a linebacker and then make a cut on the safety and like have contact balance,
Yeah.
what I'm saying, strength to get to the goal line. That's just like one little play that has everything that I'm able to do in one play right there. So,
Absolutely, man.
yeah, my man, my kind of guy.
That's what I know, man. I wasn't going to mention any Penn State ones, man, because I didn't want to bring up those again to bring up
We
some
could
bad
bring that
memories
up.
for me. But
16 rushes for 170.
Donovan, I don't want to hear about it, man. I don't want to hear about it. If you can sit out that Penn State game this year, I'll be very appreciative of that, man.
Nah, no good. No good. That's a Big Ten
All
game. No
right,
good.
I want you to be 1,000% honest with me on this question. When Blake announced on the Rich Eisen show that he was coming back, was there a tiny part of you that was like, "Man, come on, dude, I gotta wait another year to be the lead running back again"?
I mean, of course. But yeah, it's just like, bro, go to the league. I tell him that it's like, bro, go to the league. Like our career spans aren't long, you know. Like, bro, you have already had like 300 plus carries on your career. It's like, bro, go to the league, bro. From
Yeah.
my own selfish standpoint, though, it's like it helps me because it's like it's not putting a lot of strain on my body,
Mm-hmm.
and I could do the same thing for him, you know. And
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go into college with like two good running backs, you know, so
Mm-hmm.
like neither of us have to put strain on our bodies.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm like, but because he told me like 2 hours, 3 hours before he announced it,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, dog, bro, go to the league, bro.
I would feel the same way, man. Especially looking at you, you're like probably a top 5 to 10 running back in the country. You could start anywhere else in the country. So like the fact that you're still a number 2 back, like quote unquote the number 2 back, is hilarious, dude. Did you
Yeah,
ever? I wanted to ask you too. Did you ever like consider leaving Michigan and transferring and going somewhere where you could be the guy for a team? Because you could be the guy for almost anyone else in the country, man.
oh, 100%. But no,
Okay.
nah, because regardless if Blake came back, I'll be the man here, you know. But I always want, like I said, I always want two running backs, you
Yeah.
know.
And you got the best 2 in the country, man. And probably the best. You look at that Georgia room they had with Todd Gurley, Nick Chubb, Sony Michelle. Like that's what I think Michigan could have next year between you and Blake, man. So I'm excited for that for sure.
100%.
Do you feel like though you and Blake are by far the best duo in college football?
That's a dumb question.
I
If you have
just
two,
want to hear you say it.
if you have a Heisman Trophy contender,
Yep.
another person that has damn near 1,000 yards, which
Mm-hmm.
I like to say I blame Coach Moore for not giving me more touches in the second half of the TCU, and I didn't play like 3 games too.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, it's yes,
let's be
you
honest.
are. You are the best. I just want to hear from you. I just wanted to hear from you that you are the best for sure. But
Let's be
listen,
honest here.
yeah, no, it's easy, man. So obviously, again, you're the number 2 back, but you've mentioned before in past interviews how you're looking at that 2024 NFL draft right now. Are
Yeah,
you already kind of eyeing it a little bit heading into your junior year?
100%. But I also have to be where my feet are. Like
Yeah.
I can't be where I want to be, and that's like a first overall draft pick. If like I'm not producing here and I'm not doing everything, like taking care of my body, playing a whole season healthy, which I've never done here yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I can't play a whole season here healthy, then it's like that will deprive of my draft stock, and that will be my only downfall. Like I could do everything really above good and great and excellent,
Mm-hmm.
but the only thing like for me is just the staying healthy part. So
Absolutely, man.
if I could do that, and like too, if we go to like the national championship, then everybody's going to eat when it comes to the NFL draft. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the main goal, is just winning games so everybody can eat.
Dude, I was just going to bring that up. So I mentioned before, I'm a huge Penn State fan, so I don't love seeing Michigan succeed. But, dude, when I look at your roster, I'm picking you guys to win it all next year, knock on wood. What do you think this Michigan Wolverine team is capable of, though?
I just we're the only way that we will lose is if we beat ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, like there should be no reason like why we can't buy into everything that we talk to each other about, and just like winning the day to day, and not looking actually like me myself. I like called up an offensive like group after practice, and it's like if we want to win a national championship, like we can't look 5 to 6 months ahead down the road when we can't win today.
Yeah.
So it's like we got to be where our feet are every single day. Like I'm not worried about the defense because the defense is the number one defense in the country, and we can't win without a great defense. You know what I'm saying? Like the 2021 Georgia team, how like they were like the number one defense and
Mm-hmm.
like a fantastic offense, but it's like us as an offense, it's like if we can't win today, like we could kiss all that stuff goodbye. You know what I'm saying? So we just have to win the day to day and not look a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks ahead. Because the first game is against ECU. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And it's like that's not the national championship game. It's not the Big Ten championship game. It's not the game. It's not the biggest rivalry game against Ohio State. So it's like we gotta take week one. We gotta win week one. We gotta win week two. We gotta win week three, et cetera, to be able to reach our goal to win a national championship.
Yeah, and another thing I love about you guys have some of the best assistant coaches in the country, which is going to be big because Jim Harbaugh is probably going to miss the first few weeks of the season. Are you guys prepared for those first 4 games without Jim Harbaugh potentially?
Absolutely, because whatever it is, whatever the NCAA says, like he will always want us to like do our best whether he's there or not.
Mm-hmm.
He has Michigan in his blood, and he's always going to support us whenever. So it's like we have to win for ourselves, for him too, but like we got to do it for us. Like we got to win to keep those goals in mind. You know what I'm saying? But I think we'll be fine because like he's already pruned us into a great mentality. So it would just be a glimpse of his coaching.
Yeah.
Like if he's there or not, we're still winning. So
Absolutely, dude. Another question I want to ask you. So obviously your first 2 years at Michigan had the number one offensive line in the country. I still think they have the best offensive line in the country. How much fun is it running behind that offensive line you guys got there?
even better this year, but they make the job 10 times easier.
Yeah.
It's like if you can't miss the hole.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's not there, which is okay, it's football, but more often than not, 8 times, 9 times out of 10, like there's always something there. And that's why I came to Michigan too, because I realized like their offensive line is way better than like other colleges.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can't miss the hole, you know what I'm saying? Like it's too big to not hit the hole. And if you don't hit the hole, you suck.
That's true. That's true. And they give some huge holes for you guys there, man, for sure. But, man, there's a couple more questions if you don't mind. But when you finally become a lead back, whether it be in college or it's probably going to happen in the NFL too, what should we expect from Donovan Edwards?
That I'll go down as one of the greatest running backs to play the game. I'll be up there with like Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, and I believe that I will revolutionize the game and the position at running back for how I run my routes, how I play as a running back, and like how I could play a receiver too. And I feel like this is the perfect time, like for myself specifically, because the NFL wants running backs that can catch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if the NFL is going to have to play, if the NFL wants a linebacker to guard a running back, good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who you are. Like, good luck guarding me. So I feel like I'll revolutionize the game, man. I'll show, like, if you want, I see, like, how all the like, stuff with the running backs is going on right now, how they're not getting paid. But I believe, like, I'll get paid for how I play the game. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, dude. I love that. So what's your why, man? What drives you to get out of bed every morning?
Oh, the grace of God. Honestly, like, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, like, what I would do or how my lifestyle would be if I didn't wake up every day knowing that I had something to do. Like, and that's like playing football, and that's being the best version of myself. I don't know what I would honestly do. So my why is God, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
That's to like preach his name, to give back to people, and to do right by people. That's my why. And the fact that like I'm on the platform to like play football and people watch me and know who I am and I'm able to do these things that I have the opportunity to do is my why. It's to give it to people and to praise God's name, in front of millions of people, millions and hundreds, one-on-one people.
I love that, man. And then another one I want to ask you is that there are a lot of kids who look at you right now and say, man, where Donovan Edwards is, that's my hero. That's the guy I want to be when I grow up. What advice would you give to those kids out there who want to be just like you when they get older?
No doubt. I say 3 things. Always believe in yourself or believe in God, believe in what you want to believe in. Be grateful to your parents, be righteous to your parents, love your parents, and always strive to be the best version of yourself. Life is never going to go your way, and I realized that early. It's never going to go your way, and it's a battle. It's a test. Everything that we go through is a test. So it's like a school test. It's either you pass or you fail. So if you recognize what you're going through and you get over it, you're passing. You're doing something right. Another message is do right by people, like you never know who you're gonna run into. You never know who's watching you. And if you're a good person to people, yes, like you're gonna be blessed, but you should want to do it for yourself. You should wanna like be grateful until like the earth that we're living on together. And that's
Hmm.
like being good to people, being good to animals, being good to like all living things, you know what I'm saying? Like just be righteous.
Absolutely, man. Last question I want to ask you. Obviously, you mentioned before in past interviews how important your dad has been in your life. What has your relationship been like with your dad, and how has he helped you get to where you are now?
Um, he's helped me to like have a mentality to do right by people, like to be educated, to have good grades, but more so like be righteous to people. Like how my mom died when I was 2 years old. There's not many men, like regardless if they have a mother or not, like if they have a mom, they wouldn't even like take care of the child. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And my dad's really stepped up to the plate. He could have did anything he wanted. He could have abandoned my brother and I, but he always stuck by us, like, yeah, like we go through things, problems or whatever, but at the end of the day, he's always given us love. He always given us love that he probably never knew that he had in him, but like he's always done that. And he's always supportive. He's always there for me and my brother, regardless of like what's going on. Like he always comes to my games, whether it's away, home, even when I wasn't playing that much. Like I don't think he recognizes like how grateful that I am that like he just always supported me. Like even though like he's always busy, like he always makes time for me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm forever grateful for him and blessed that he's my father.
Donovan, I gotta tell you, man, I've done a lot of these interviews. This is hands down the best interview that I've ever done, man. So I'm excited to watch you this year. I'm not excited for that Penn State game, but other than that, man, I think you're going to be an absolute superstar. No matter who's in front of you, man, you're an absolute superstar. And after you put on the gold jacket in the NFL Hall of Famer, man, I think there's a world for you in the sports media game if you ever want to get into it too, man, because you
No
are
doubt. I
terrific on the
appreciate that.
mic for sure, dude.
Sam Webb told me the same thing. That's something I might have to take into
You really
consideration.
just don't take my job, man. As long as you don't do that, we'll be pretty cool. But you're the absolute man, dude. And best of luck this upcoming season.
I appreciate you, Max and David. I appreciate y'all having me on here, man.